So welcome back to part 2 of tonight's episode, where we're going to look forward to Leinster's game against Connacht and of course all your Pro 12 action. So boys, rerun of the...
Revenge!
Rerun of the final...
Revenge for Skibbereen. Maybe not Skibbereen.
But the problem is how many of the respective starting 15s are going to be competing?
Therein lies the question. I mean, you've got to... It's not unusual. I mean, there used to be a situation where the interpros were played in such a way that there was never any internationals involved because they was regarded as the lowest impact.
But they used to have a load of them over Christmas.
Yeah.
And at the time, Eddie O'Sullivan used to bring them all off down to the Algarve or somewhere for warm-up weather training.
Well, I think the key to this game for us is will we be able to keep Ringrose and Joey Carbery? And I think we will, to be honest. I'm not sure that they're going to go to... they're pretty important to us. Like, we're not going to have Sexton, which is obvious. A, he's not in great shape, and B, he needs to sit back for the following week in against the All Blacks. So we like loads of second rows. We'll probably lose quite a few back rows to Ireland, but at the same time we've got a good. We could have Jack Conlon. We could have Sean O'Brien at 7. We could have Levy at 6 and Don Ryan on the bench. So we're okay there. Second rows are tripping over. I mean, even if we rested Mike McCarthy again and Mick Carney, we'd still have Triggs and Nagel.
Triggs was in excellent form on Saturday in the British and Irish Cup. Yeah, he came on. I mean, Nottingham, just a quick diversion, Nottingham were really, really good and they were really on it and they prepared really well. And they absolutely set about dismantling us in areas where where they could target us.
And they won.
But one of the guys who came on with 20 minutes to go and nearly kind of turned things around and helped us nearly snatch the match was Triggs. Played really, really well. Anyway.
So that's the back five of the pack. The front row is where we're kind of snookered because we'll probably be okay on the loose head side with Porter and Dooley, but without Furlong, we've bent and probably Lockman, who that's fairly callow going up against a Connacht team, who might be missing Finlay Beelum, and that's about it really to Ireland a bit. Hookers were okay. Scrum halves were probably okay.
Yeah.
Even if we have to call on Nick McCarthy, we're doing.
Didn't have the greatest game last Saturday either. Actually, no.
But at out half we're in trouble because Cathal Marsh is off for the rest of the year.
Yeah, he has to have an operation.
Off for a while anyway. So if we lost Carbery, it'll be Ross Byrne and Noel Reid.
Easton Asiwa.
I think Carbery's well off the pecking order. Like, you're going to have...
Well, you've got Jackson, possibly Madigan, although he won't be released.
I think people are thinking, his matchday squad is 23, that's all he's going to bring. He's going to bring about 40 guys with him.
Yeah, but on out halves he's going to have Jackson and Sexton. You don't need more than 2 out halves for a training game. Anyway, I don't know whether... I think we'll get by. We're a bit stuck for wingers as well. Yeah. Has to be said. If Dave Kearney doesn't make it back.
Barry Daly played well on Saturday. Just in terms of he might have played well enough to
I'd have a lot
get elevated
in on the wing either,
Maybe needed at centre.
Well, that's the thing, do you lose Ringrose? My thinking on Carbery and Ringrose is if they're going to get capped by Ireland, it's going to be against Canada.
Yeah.
Carbery may be on the bench and Ringrose starting against Canada. I don't think they're going to go play them against the All Blacks. If either of them did really well, they might be on the bench against Australia or something, but...
Well, the other side of it is, just because they're going to America, or because Joe Schmidt's going to take them to America, doesn't necessarily mean he's going to cut their appearance on at the weekend. In the case of guys who might want to bring for the experience and to be around the squad, because he's going to, as you say, use them against Canada. So he wants to integrate them into the squad. But it doesn't mean that he won't release them on Saturday.
If you think back to when Joe Schmidt was the coach of Leinster, he very rarely picked fellas when they were away. They weren't
during the week,
when they were away with the Irish camp.
Put them on the bench.
Very rarely included them in it. But Connacht seem to be Connacht are our bogey team. Like, they've probably beaten us more in the last couple of seasons than we've beaten them. They beat us twice out of the 3 games last season. They generally have beaten us maybe
Not in the
two
RDS,
out of, no, not true, but I think there's probably 2 of the last 4 occasions down in Galway. So
Yeah.
they know, they have our number, they know how to beat us.
Yeah, well, they certainly do. They beat us in a big final, but yeah, well, they seem to be coming into a bit of form. They fairly well dispatched Debray. They've had a few good weeks now after a slow start, so if they can maintain a bit of momentum, they've signed those 2 guys. There's a new guy just signed from the NPC for Jason will tell us his name now. Well, maybe not. I can't remember his name myself, but he's supposed to be fairly handy. He's from Otago, I think.
Connacht, Stanley Ely.
No, there's a new guy they've just literally signed.
For God's sake.
He's presumably he would be Ireland eligible if he stayed around. I can't remember his name now off the top of my head. So they have the squad to do us damage. You know, our only saving grace is that we're in the RDS, and they find it hard to win in the RDS. Thankfully, so far. That was the first time though. Have they won in the RDS before? They haven't really.
I'm trying to think of the last time. No, they haven't.
They won
They've
in
never won a match.
Donnybrook in 03 or something.
Yeah, they've never won the RDS.
I don't think so.
No, the problem with Connacht, or the problem that we face with Connacht, is that they play. I mean, last year they played a game that got round
Yeah.
a fairly sluggish defence, fairly handily. I think we're a better team this year than we were last.
We're better defensively, yeah.
We're better defensively. We're a better team. We're playing better. The question is how many of our team, of the team that is doing all these things, we have available to us,
Well,
and in key positions too. I mean, we're going to lose guys. Funnily enough, we're going to lose guys where Connacht are strongest.
Yeah.
We're going to lose in our centres, and Connacht are very strong in the centres. Connacht have a strong set of halfbacks. We're going to lose, although they will lose probably Marmion, but they'll still probably have Carty.
yeah. We've got Bundy Aki running
Yeah.
at some Callow centres on our side. You know?
They probably have Boshoff. Will they have Boshoff be available?
Not sure.
Mm.
He arrived anyway, I heard. So yeah.
Jack Carty, I thought, played very, very well against Zebre. I mean, it's hard to know, it was against Zebre, but he did very well against them, so I mean, it's not his job to play well against somebody else.
Yeah, well, if he can distribute and Ronaldson can kick, or Boshoff can kick,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know whether we'll be able to get both of them on the field. Play them 10 and 12 or 10 and 15 or 12, you know, whatever. But that'll be a formidable combination, because Jack Carty's weakness seems to be off the tee.
Yeah, Ronaldson's kicking really well.
The other guy, Ronaldson's kicking well, and that other guy, that's his party trick, is his boot. Boshoff.
They've done an awful lot with Craig Ronaldson. I mean, they've turned him into a genuine. I mean, he could be on the fringes of the Canada game himself.
You never know. You never know.
And one thing that they have is they have pace. They've got
Yeah, that's what worries me.
Adi Locum, and the thing is that those guys are they're scoring tries, you know, and they're scoring tries for fun, and they're getting into that mentality of they know where the try line is. And the disappointing thing going back to Leinster's performance, we had a build up. It was probably on the 70th minute, and we had the ball 3 or 4 times on their line,
Yeah.
and we
out.
tried to go for the bludgeon of, you know, head down and drive, and we were
Because there was
being
no space
repelled.
out wide.
But we were being repelled, John. Like, there was no. I mean, when we did throw it, we got turned over on the 22. Like, we lost 22 meters.
And in fairness, you can't compare playing against Montpellier
I'm
Montpellier
not.
against Zebre.
But I'm not at all. But what I'm saying is that we seem to struggle to convert a lot of our possession into points.
Possibly.
What Connacht do have is that they have strike runners that give them a one-on-one. They've got such pace that they, you know, like it's a full race. They'll burn you.
It's not even the pace, it's the acceleration. That's worse. Pace is whatever, but a guy can go from
And
0 to full tilt.
Wouldn't Keane Gallagher love to score against Leinster? That would make his day.
And lads
I'm
would
sure.
love to get a few no arms tackles in on Keane Kelleher too, remember?
We'll see. Yeah, it's an interesting prospect. It's a pity we don't both have our full team, but hey, they'll have a fuller team than we will. But
Is that a sop to the Welsh? Insofar as
No, all their players have been pulled as well.
have they?
Yeah,
But they play an extra fixture, don't they?
there's a big thing
Outside
in
the
the
window.
Welsh papers about it today about how they're going into this derby weekend, and a lot of the big stars are going to be pulled, or the prospect is that they'll be pulled. So it's they're facing a similar vista to we are.
it's not great for the league, and you would have thought that when they were selecting where these derby weekends were going, that they'd put them
But that's
the hell away from
But
international.
that's what I mean about it being a stop, because if you are trying, like, it's if Swansea are if Ospreys are playing Dragons, there's a local rivalry there anyway, and it doesn't really matter whether you've got your internationals or your second string, you're still got a local rivalry. However, if let's say Leinster were scheduled to rock up to Swansea this weekend, minus Henshaw, Sexton, Sean O'Brien, Devin Toner, etc.,
Dan
etc.
Bigger, Justin Tipperidge.
Yeah. How are
Alan Munjo.
the marketing department in Swansea going to say, hang on now, we've got to flog this match in at 27,000?
Probably with a lot of L's and some W's.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I mean, if guys are getting pulled for international camp, the best thing trying to have them pulled is actually fixtures that have a certain inbuilt resistance to that anyway, because they're local derbies. You know.
Well, it just favours, for example, the other game, Ulster-Munster, which is in Ulster, I think.
It is, yeah.
It is, yes, in Kingsman.
That is another interesting one, because they're roughly the same amount of internationals, I would guess, off the top of my head, Ulster and Munster. So that's a lot more evenly matched as to who they're going. You know, they'll have Pienaar, for example, just like Connacht will have Bundy Aki, but you know, there's quid pro quos there, roughly the same amount. Whereas we're gonna lose a lot more than Connacht are. So you know, it's we're the ones that are losing out because we're donating so many to Team Ireland. Like we've most of the pack, or a lot of the pack now. Where you know, it used to be Munster 10 years ago.
Having said that,
we got to fill our team with Irish internationals last weekend in South of France.
That's true.
and somebody else's dollar in the main. That's
So
the,
like,
that's
you
the
can't have your
advantage of it,
cake
yeah.
and eat it.
That's the swing to the roundabout. And the thing is, I don't feel, apart from tight head prop, I don't really fear for our pack at all. It's in
out wide.
other positions.
Well, we'll have Zane Kirshner, we'll have Eason Asewa, so at least we'll have experience, and you know, Eason Asewa can do pretty much anything in any position, from about number 6 back. He can play them all.
I'd say if he spent a bit of time with Keane Healy, he might learn how to play loose that.
For now.
Well, you mentioned the Ulster-Munster game. Munster actually won that match last season up in Ravenhill. So I just think, like, if I was going to have a bet this weekend, I'd actually bet that Munster will lose, because I just think they must be emotionally spent after all of the whole thing last week. I mean, it must just take
Well, Ulster are in shit form, so it's a bit of a lottery there.
It's true, but like Ulster, they still got their win against Exeter. Like that match. Both teams had lost.
Yeah, and I mean,
but they had to win it. But you can't see them coming out of that group.
Ulster are a pretty mediocre team. They've one or two good. Well, they've a couple of good players, but they haven't got a good team. And most of that, as we've said before, and as people probably tired of us saying, most of that stems down to the fact that they have a really, really soft pack.
Yeah, it's funny, because like 2 years ago they had a pretty tough pack.
Yeah.
They used to look at us and grin. Now it's the other way around, you know. Sadly for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they are second still in the league. You know, they've one win, one loss in their season isn't over. You can't write it off just yet.
Oh no.
First in the league, I think, aren't they?
Well, they joined first. The same points, same wins as us. Maybe a bit of points difference.
But there's just a weakness there. There's a flaw there that you know is going to appear when the pressure's on. I mean,
Will the pressure be on this week?
that's the question. I'm not so sure how it is, because Munster are a pretty mediocre team as well. I mean, that's the reality of it.
Well, they're
They were in it last week, but anyway.
But presumably all of their stars are going to be pulled from the team. CJ, O'Mahony,
The guys who were absolutely brilliant.
exactly.
Earls.
Murray, Earl as well.
Yeah.
Is Earls going to be?
Girls might be.
I'd say he'll get them.
But why does it work? Do you know?
Well, red cards are not that exciting, and it's not even up. It's 4 weeks is the minimum. I'd say
Does that ban him from international rugby?
Does.
yeah, it's all games. Yeah.
So he's pretty much out of the autumn then.
Well, I would say that he'd get the absolute minimum, and I'd say they might even reduce it down. They'll take also. I mean, because
He'll miss
Because he only kicked rugby ball at his own play. Or
yeah,
bench, so it wasn't-
that's. I'd say there'd be a certain amount of understanding.
Leniency.
I mean, you'd have to have. I mean, what? They're not monsters.
Yeah, well, with the week
Well,
I was
rugby
out
aren't
for
monsters.
allegedly.
But you know, I'd say he'll come out of it with 2, maybe 3 weeks.
So we missed the America game.
Yeah. They might even suspend some of it in lieu of the circumstances.
How are Ireland looking for wingers though? Not great,
Well, it depends on how adventurous they want to be, doesn't it?
I suppose.
I mean, they'll go with the usual. I mean, Tommy Bowe's back fit again. Is Dave Kearney coming back?
Might be game too soon.
Andy Trimble, he's back. Zebo.
Yeah, Zebo might even
Depends
play
what-
full back.
It depends
Who knows?
what selection they'll go for in midfield. Whether they're going to stick with Payne and Henshaw, or they're going to bring Henshaw back. Sorry, they're going to bring Payne back to full back. Possibly bring Ringrose into the centre. I don't know.
I don't think they're going to do that for New Zealand.
No. I don't even think Ringrose is next cab on the rank, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. I'd say Ringrose
suppose
is nailed on for a Canada's
Luke
third.
Marshall did put up a pretty good display over in South Africa.
South Africa, Stuart Olding did well in South Africa as well. I mean, but you know, international coaches tend to be
Conservative.
Even ones like Joe Schmidt tend to have a core, and part of Joe's core is Henshaw 12, Payne 13, Rob Kearney 15,
Yeah,
Bow on one wing, and that the other wing is generally where he tends to
experiment.
Get a bit
There'll be groans though, you know, if Henshaw's or if Payne is playing 13 and Kearney's playing 15, there'll be groans from
But you
all over the
would
place.
you not have to agree? I mean,
Or
considering Rob's performance last weekend, which
He's not in great form. It's partly that the game doesn't suit him as a player as much as it did when he was in his heyday, and it's partly that he's not in the form that he was when he was in his heyday. But those two factors combined, you know, I'm a big fan of his.
I don't know if he's playing as poorly as people say he was. I mean, in the opening games of the season, he played quite well. If you look at some of his hands, for example, when we went down, like we were going down wings and everybody else was getting the press. Like for Carberry's first try, some of Rob's hands in the move for both those tries were actually excellent.
yeah, and so I think he played well in Glasgow too.
Yeah.
Didn't he? But that's what I want to see him play. I want to see him play and hit the line with pace, and run onto the ball. Like quite often you see him, the ball's, you know, he feels it exceptionally well. Like there's probably few can match him for how good he is under high ball. But it does seem that he just jogs back into contact. That he's not
Sets
looking.
up a ruck.
Yeah, set up a ruck, but he doesn't look for a gap or look to try and put somebody else into space. He just seems to run into contact and at a pedestrian base.
Well, the difference between Rob and say Jared Payne is Jared Payne does the exact same thing in the exact same circumstances. He finds you don't want to get turned over when you're catching a high ball. The difference is Jared Payne inserts himself into the line.
Yeah, when there's a move.
When we have the ball.
Yeah.
Jared Payne inserts himself into the line a lot better than Rob does because that's his game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the New Zealand style of playing fullback. So that's the advantage he has. The advantage Rob has is that he does what Joe Schmidt tells him to do.
Yeah, both Kearneys I think seem to be. That's why they
I mean,
play so
but
much.
I think Dave Kearney was playing
Suited
really
his
good
game.
this season. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I said it last week. Maybe it's the flash of bleached blonde hair.
Yeah.
It just makes him a little bit more
Well,
distinctive.
here's the thing. I mean, eventually a day will happen come when this isn't true, but I don't think it'll be this year. Can anyone ever think of of an opportunity Joe Schmidt has ever dropped a Kearney when he's had one available to him?
I can't remember.
Because I can't remember either.
Oh well, he won't have Dave. I don't think.
No, but I mean, when has he ever failed to pick a Kearney when he's had one available to him?
I think he might have been when he was coach of Leinster.
He's certainly not Rob.
No,
Rob, every
not
chance he
Rob,
got.
but Dave though.
Dave, yeah. Well, he did have other options.
But he had Nasir
Yeah.
and Fitzgerald.
and
were-
Shane Horgan, and so he had. But I mean, when Dave was the man, he picked him every time, and he picked him for the World Cup. He gave him every chance. He gave Rob every chance to go to South Africa, to the detriment of Leinster. It must be pointed out. So.
Interesting, alright. Well, some of the other matches, a lot of them are derbies. Got the Ospreys Dragons, as we kind of mentioned. Ospreys, Glasgow Treviso,
Let's go.
Cardiff Scarlets. That'll be a tricky one.
Yeah.
Mid-table game.
Scarlets, I would
Scarlets are
say.
away.
I would still say Scarlets,
Okay.
based on their. Cardiff are going to lose a lot of players for this match, and Scarlets, I would suggest, have greater intestinal fortitude.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, Cardiff are the coming team. They have been doing it for about 3 years now.
Scarlets are Cardiff. You haven't jumped ship yet.
Scarlet's, the amount of coming Cardiff doing Cardiff might find
So I was just
Scarlets might
mentioning it as a joke at this
bit
stage, you
sticky.
know.
No, I think Scarlets might Scarlets they've been odd actually in Europe because they've been playing quite well.
Yeah, well, in Europe, yeah.
But they've been playing well. So
Well, they were fairly
They won the Premier
dismantled
League.
by Sarries.
oh yeah, but that doesn't mean that they're.
No.
I mean the things that they were able to control, they controlled well, kind of thing.
So I think Saracens are by far the form team in the
Yeah.
competition and probably the favourites to win it
Yeah.
back to back.
See, their second row is out. He broke his wrist and
Yeah.
broke his hand.
And
Mara with Toje, yeah.
It's-
And they have,
he's a big loss.
they have plenty of other players. So
European Player of the Year last
Yeah.
year.
they still have other players. So that's
I know
fine.
they do. I
Yeah.
know.
And man's gone to Toulon, Chris
Chris
Ashton.
Ashton.
He's off to Toulon, that's another
And
interesting
Mike Ford was named head
head
coach.
coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's mental, isn't it?
Diego Dominguez is not had a lot of luck as a head coach, really, has he?
Well, he only lasted, what, 4 months?
Mm.
And it was a funny appointment as well because he kind of went out of the game for 2 or 3 years.
I'm not entirely sure what.
What goes through your man's head?
Well, I'm not sure. Is it entirely him or is it who appointed Dominguez? Was it him or was it whoever's director of rugby was?
But like, doesn't he have to sign off on everything?
Ah, he does, yeah. But I still think that he has people he trusts. I mean, he trusted Laporte for a long time in that
Is the
organisation.
report not there still now?
No, he's gone.
No, he's
Yeah.
not. No, he's trying to screw up French rugby as a whole, as opposed to just in part. Well, he gave Laporte virtually carte blanche to run that club, you know, and took an awful lot of the heat for Laporte, for stuff that Laporte was doing that wasn't necessarily the nicest things in the world.
Laporte seems to have pictures of a lot of people in French rugby in compromising positions. I don't know how he's managed it, but
Well, sure, he was a French government minister, so he probably used the Secret Service.
that's it. That's it.
Well, anyway, before we get into more trouble with the authorities in.
WikiLeaks only after us. Nasty woman.
Alright, boys, as ever, thanks very much, and thanks very much for watching. Cheers.